Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
That'll be enough. Mr. Crow.
Man, I don't give a fuck about you, your mama, your whole motherfucking family, man. You know what I'm saying?
Nice seat, sir.
I don't give a fuck about you, man. I don't even give a fuck, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can kill me right now. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Have a seat.
Rowdy Nation TV. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Do me a favor. Click that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so anytime I drop a video, you guys can be notified. I'd just like to send a shout out to ConusVideo.com for that clip you seen in the beginning of the video. Now, here are the three men that are on death row in Colorado. Now, in that clip you just seen was Nathan Dunlap. There's three men in the state of Colorado that was on death row. Now, you had Nathan Dunlap, Samaria Owens, and Robert Way. Now, we're about to get into these guys' story and why they were on death row, and tell you why the governor of Polis has actually used his gubernatorial powers and granted these guys a lifetime sentence in prison with no parole. So, in saying that, let's get into their story and see what happened with these guys and what led them to be on Colorado's death row. Now, three men are on death row in Colorado, which hasn't carried out an execution since convicted murderer and rapist Gary Lee Davis was put to death by lethal injection in 1997. Now, we're getting this article from one of the news stations that's coming out of Colorado, and I'm gonna send them shouts out to them. And that's one of the I think that's Channel 9 or Channel 7. I believe it's Channel 9. So now look at these three men in Colorado, and we're gonna see what happened. Actually, and as you can see from the pictures, these is all three of them are brothers, right? And we're gonna start with Nathan Dunlap. Nathan Dunlap was convicted of killing 4 employees at a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant in Aurora. Now, for some of you young folks, that happened in 1993, and that was really big. That was national news. I remember when that happened. That was national news because it happened at a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant in Aurora, Colorado. Now, in that shooting, 17-year-old Ben Grant, 19-year-old Sylvia Crowell, and 17-year-old Colleen O'Connor, and 50-year-old Margaret Colbert. Another victim, Bobby Stevens, was also shot, but he survived. Now, my shouts out go out. I mean, I want to send a RIP, my condolences out to the victims of Nathan Dunlap's crime. You know, this brother was a lost brother, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, nobody wins in these situations like this. Now, Dunlap recounted the details of the murders to 9 News and investigative reports. You know, he actually sat down for an interview with some people. And what he said was, I was still kind of iffy on the shooting. And then, you know, I like hyped myself up in the men's bathroom. And I came out and I just started shooting. Now, those are the words of Nathan Dunlap. That's not me talking. That's Nathan Dunlap. Now, Dunlap said while he was shooting, he saw blackness. Now, these are quotes from him. I was running this plan through my mind, and the only thing I really saw was blackness, so to speak, Dunlap said. Now, asked in 1997 what his penalty should be, Dunlap said, if you want to make me hurt, life in jail. I ain't afraid of death. Death ain't gonna bother me. Now, Dunlap was sentenced to death in 1996. The U.S. Supreme Court rejected his final appeal in 2013. But Governor John Hickenlooper gave Dunlap a temporary reprieve in 2013 in an order that granted him an indefinite stay of execution. And I'm here to tell you right now, those 3 brothers that's on death row in Colorado, they've received life in prison, so now, they're not on death row anymore. But I found it kind of strange that, out of 9 mass shootings that we've had in Colorado, it's really strange that 3 brothers who went to the same high school ended up on death row in Colorado. So that, I'm not sure if that tells you something about our justice system or that particular, that judicial branch, the ninth. What is that? I think that's the 18th judicial district court. That's in. Is that Arapahoe or Arapahoe? It's Arapahoe County in Colorado. Now I've heard a lot of stuff about that 18th judicial court. I heard a lot of people who receive 25 with an L, a lot of them come back to court and they get that reverse because they be going for your head out there, right? They really be going for you. Not to say that these brothers don't deserve the death penalty. I'm not sure how you people feel about the death penalty because if you're not a victim of a crime, especially a violent crime, you really don't know and you don't understand the hurt and the pain of the family until you're the victim of that. And I, for one, can tell you that because I've experienced it. So let's get on to the next one. We have Robert Ray. Now, Robert Ray was convicted of arranging the murders of 2 witnesses to another murder. Javad Marshall Fields, age 22, was set to testify against Ray in a murder trial in Arapahoe County before being gunned down in 2005. His fiancée, 22-year-old Vivian Wolf, was also killed. Now, Ray in 2006 was found guilty of attempted first-degree murder for shooting at Laurie Park in 2004. Now, Marshall Fields was at Laurie Park in 2004. His friend, Gregory Van, was shot and killed. Marshall Fields was also shot, and he was injured, but he actually survived. Okay, so let's keep track here with me because the next person that we're going to talk about that's on the Colorado death row is Sir Mario Owens. Now, he's the co-defendant of Robert Ray, the last guy I just talked to you about, right? Now, remember, Javad Marshall Fields was shot, and he was injured, and his friend, Van Wolf, was killed. Now, Robert Ray, as I just said, was convicted of that crime. So now, Sir Mario Owens was also sentenced for the death for his role in the murder of Marshall Fields and Vivian Wolf. So this is like, it's a witness killing, right? And you know, those are high-profile cases here, right? So, you know, that incident happened with Robert Ray, so I'm surmising that he sent this brother to go kill the witnesses to the first murder and the first shooting. So Van was scheduled to testify because he had got shot and his friend had got killed. But before he can get a chance to testify, him and his girlfriend get gunned down. And like I said before, I don't know how you guys feel about the death penalty. But Javad Marshall Fields, his mom, Rhonda Fields, you know, she courageous, you know, she was very adamant and she was courageous about justice for her son. And she ended up becoming, I believe she's like a state senator now, right? Rhonda Fields, she's very, you know, she's pro-death. She's for the death penalty, right? And so when the Governor Polis came and he reversed those sentences, she was very upset. And, you know, right now, I think she's like a state senator or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But I think she's a state senator, though. Now, Owens was also sentenced for the death for his role in the murder of Marshall Fields and Vivian Wolf. Owens was convicted of 3 murders for Gregory Van. Oh, okay, because he had something to do with that one, too, in Aurora's Laurie Park in 2004. And later for Marshall Fields and Vivian Wolf. Witnesses in that case were murdered in 2005. And that would be Javad Marshall Fields and Vivian Wolf. Now, that's crazy because I remember when all this stuff was happening at the time. And like I said before, I don't know how you guys feel about the death penalty, but you know, in a state where there's been 9 mass shootings, can you really justify putting these? I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you can because this is heinous. Don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for these people. Don't get me wrong. But that's what I'm saying about the death penalty, and that's why sometimes I believe there's some people who just do not deserve to walk among us. I could be wrong for that, and if I am, God forgive me, and maybe later on in life I can work my way to get to that point where I can say, yeah, somebody can do these heinous crimes and just sit in jail. But I've actually heard that for a lot of, you know, I'm not sure if that's some kind of con that these guys put on, because they say that they would rather die than sit in jail. for the rest of their lives. If it is, you know, so be it. You know, we don't have to pay your heart. I know I go to work every day and I pay taxes. So, you know what I'm saying? If I got to pay for somebody on my dime, you know what I'm saying? Which I really don't understand. This whole system where you incarcerate somebody with $100,000 a year, if you offer them that money, maybe they wouldn't do crime. Maybe if you give them some kind of trade, but that's another subject. We're not gonna get on that. But like I said before, I don't know how you guys feel about the death penalty, but me personally, I'm at the point right now. There's too much crime that goes on in our community, heinous, just man, crazy. Does it shock you anymore? I mean, as I'm doing this story right now, you know, a school just got shot up in Texas. So, you know, 20 people. So, I don't know. But I just wanted to bring this case to you, let you know that, you know, so now in Colorado, in the state of Colorado, there's nobody on Colorado's death row. You know, the 3 brothers who were on Colorado's death row sentences have been commuted to life sentences in prison. And I don't know how you guys feel about that. Drop a comment and let me know how you feel about these brothers getting their sentences commuted to life in prison in a state where there's been 9 mass shootings and neither one of the people who did the mass shootings, who survived those mass shootings or prosecuted for those mass shootings were ever sentenced to death row. Tell me how you feel about that. Drop a line on that. And like I said before, tell me how you feel about that. Rowdy Nation TV, do me a favor, guys. If you're listening to this right now, or if you have listened to this, I would like to say thank you for listening to me. But if you haven't, click the like button. I would actually like you to subscribe to my channel. And as we keep growing, you know, I hope to get a lot better. And I appreciate all the people who are listening. Rowdy Nation TV, we out.